Hello, bonjour, and welcome back to my channel. My name is Costa-Susini, and I want to thank you so much for the overwhelming response to my video series. I am I don't want to say overwhelmed again, because that makes it sound like I wasn't ready, but in a way I wasn't. I truly was not. And I started this series with a concept. However, your comments and your suggestions, even some of you who tell me, oh, you remind me of this person, which is interesting, okay? Which is very interesting because I know you're not saying I look like the person. You're saying I remind you of the person, which for me means that I'm exuding a certain energy akin to that particular person. And so far, it's really giving me different insight as to what you guys are thinking or how I'm being perceived. That's a better way of putting it, okay? How I'm being perceived. So the other thing is, bear with me. This is all happening at the speed of light, and I am not a video technician, so there is a learning curve for me in terms of the editing quality of my videos. In short, I don't edit. I don't expect I will unless, I get to the point where I hire somebody to do that. But I would like to, at the very least, drop down photos into the videos just to illustrate what I'm saying and, the points I'm trying to make. So bear with me. The other thing, again, I do not edit, okay? I record when the energy tells me to. Honestly, if I wait for all the factors to be perfect, like my allergies and the coughing and stuff like that, it will never get done. And then when it gets done, quite frankly, it will lose so much of me that I wouldn't enjoy it, and I don't think that you would enjoy watching it. So there's that. So today, this is my soft life installation, and I'm wearing I love orange, and yes, it does look a little wrinkled, but that's just the nature of it. It's like one of those cottony, linen-y tops, but we're gonna roll with it. So yeah, soft living. As you can see, I am down here on the terrace today, okay? I'm playing with the light, the natural light, okay? I'm not using, or at least not today, I'm not using any kind of filters or anything of that nature. So I'm playing around with things. So again, bear with me. So soft living. I was talking to a friend, and it struck me. It was very interesting. She was on a date, and basically something went wrong, and the guy suggested a certain alternative remedy or idea to alleviate the problem. And she said, oh, okay, bet. And he later told her in their conversations afterwards, okay, because they're still talking and still getting to know each other, he said, yeah, I wanted to see if you were receptive to my idea, okay? And again, going back to my marriage video, my husband said to me, if you were anything like that, we never would have gotten together. And that brings me to this point about suggestions. When we first met, and this is where I would like to put some photos or whatnot, he took me for a drive, and I've told this story before. He took me for a drive up in Fort Mondrian, which is an old military fort that overlooks Toulon. It is stunning, okay? And afterwards, we hung out, we talked. It was a complete gentleman. We came back down from the fort, is what I mean. And we went grocery shopping. Who doesn't need to go grocery shopping? So we went to this grocery store. We did our individual shopping. And there's a Burger King in the center, or in the parking lot. And it was later, and now it's normal that people don't eat until after 9 o'clock or something like that out here, or probably even later, okay? That's normal, not quite normal for me. But after all the driving and things, I was tired. I did want to eat. And he said, you want to run over to Burger King? And again, we had just had this beautiful drive, and I said, "Oh, sure, why not?" Honestly, I was just happy that he suggested we grab something to eat because I was hungry, and you know how we get when we get hungry. I was about to get hangry. Um, Went over to Burger King, had a nice little meal, no big deal. And he told me later that that's how he knew that he wanted to get to know me more. Okay. And honestly, there really wasn't much more to it because 2 days later, we were pretty much coupled up. And I say that to say, soft living is about a rhythm. Okay. It doesn't mean I sit on this beautiful vineyard and do nothing. Okay. I have been working at this channel for a very long time. Okay. Some of you can see that my videos go back to 2004 when I started the channel, but I didn't know what I was doing. I had no idea what I was doing until about 2 weeks ago. And yes, just this recent, I made actually another YouTuber reach out to me to do an interview. And I said, oh, this is the perfect time for me to relaunch my YouTube channel. So I reorganized everything. And I kept thinking, oh, maybe I should reach out to this person, reach out to that person, basically sell myself, which I had been doing months prior with no response, with no avail. And sure enough, on the back of one of my hot flashes, about 2 weeks ago, I got the message, build it and they will come. So I did, and here we are, okay? And I say that in terms of soft living. Again, it's about a rhythm. It's about a rhythm. And when you listen to that rhythm, you get suggestions or ideas that lead you to something greater. I'm not saying take everything, okay? I'm saying use discernment, but you will know when to pick up on something, when something doesn't hit. I mentioned before that when we were on the phone with the Marie going over the wedding dates, okay? And as soon as I heard August 3rd, for some reason, I was just like, August 3rd, that's it, Didn't think anything about it. Months later, after we were married, looking back at my video feed, I discovered that that was the first video that I recorded, and it was because I got an urging, I got a nudging saying, film this. I was about to go to bed. It was like, film it now, capture your feelings right now, right now, right now. And much to my shock, that video I recorded on August 3rd. So again, I say that to say, soft living is really about a rhythm and tuning in to what God, the universe, Allah, whatever you want to call it, nature is trying to tell you, okay? Sometimes it comes in a whisper. Sometimes it comes in a hot flash in the middle of the night. Sometimes it comes from somebody standing right in front of you, okay? Now, it was a suggestion. It was a suggestion. So I will also put that out there for the many beautiful women who are telling me that in the comments that they're basically where I was, in the sense of declaring themselves, oh, I'm good single, but secretly wanting more, or wanting that magic to come in and just shock them. So again, soft living, listening to the rhythm, being open to suggestions with discernment, okay? So that's what I have for you for soft living today. To elaborate in terms of my work and my projects and things of that nature, I am a government contractor for the United States, okay? I maintain my liaisons in the United States because I understand the states. Now, I studied business at the community college, and then I moved into communications and digital arts when I transferred to university. So that's my background. That's why I mentioned that, because that goes into my projects. And the reason why I was pitching like right after our wedding. I was pitching some projects and some courses that I had done about expat life and things like that. And I just got so drained. And it got to the point where I said, wait a second, I don't even want to do this. If they call me, I'm not even interested in these projects. And that's when I fell back and I said, wait a second, let's get back to the creative aspect. Let's get back to the fun. And again, somebody reached out to me and suggested or proposed that we do a video together. Okay, so it's those, once we honor that rhythm, the path starts to illuminate itself. And honestly, that's literally how I got here. I was just turning behind me to see if I could see the house, that it's literally on the other side of this buisson. It's on the other side of this bush right here, on the outside of the gates. But that's what I have for you in terms of soft living. In the future, going forward with this segment, I will be sharing some of the projects that I have been working on. In short, I wrote a book, and I really don't want this to sound sales or anything like that. I wrote a book about the process I went through, essentially everything to get here. And then I also developed a course for expats, okay, who are looking to relocate here. And it's more than just the visas. Believe me, it is more than just the visas, because with Americans in particular, oh, and those of you who are looking to go abroad, I can say this: Americans, particularly New Yorkers, as they call us here in France, there's, I don't want to say a premium, but there's and my good friend told me this when I first got here, they're fascinated with us. They really and truly are. They follow our culture, because as you know, pop culture, whatever, they follow our culture heavily, and they just do. So to hear that you are from New York in particular, and I can only speak for New Yorkers or whatnot, they just want to be around you. They really and truly do. They just want to be around you. So there's a space. There is definitely a space, okay? Now, going back to soft life, if you are thinking of relocating abroad, I highly, highly, highly suggest that you get into that soft space mentality now, okay? And my next video, where I'm going to talk about the whole reinvention series, I'm going to talk about how I got into that space long before I got here, okay? Long before I got here. I mean, it was still a learning curve, but that soft space, preparing for it years in advance, really made the difference. So that's what I have for you. Please put down in the comments, soft living, soft life, and I will see you soon. A tout à l'heure. A tout à l'heure means see you later. A tout à l'heure.